Karina Hanrahan here. I'm a Senior Innovation and Commercialization Manager at Inelcom Commercial Pathways. In today's presentation, we're going to be looking at critical infrastructure, so innovation training with a bias towards commercialization for the PRECINCT project. Inelcom Commercial Pathways is a not-for-profit organisation which supports collaborative R&D and paths to commercialization with leading industrial, academic and SME partners across Europe. The commercial impact model delivers a structured approach to ensure your proposals and projects meet EU economic impact objectives and sustainability after the end of the project. This is done through focused KPIs related to industry and commercial impact and establishes industry-relevant accelerators for project sustainability. Directly helps to ensure a path to sustainable economic outputs, increases SME bias in projects, and expands industry participation and commercial ecosystem clustering to accelerate a path to market and growth. Our management team and staff collectively have guided over 350 successfully granted patents, while also being integral in supporting a multitude of successful spin-outs. And we're keen to bring that expertise to PRECINCT, where we are supporting innovation and the protection of patents, including business plans, understanding the market, understanding the customer, and understanding opportunity, which is our role within the project. PRECINCT is a European-funded collaborative research project involving 40 partners and dealing with critical infrastructure protection and compelling goals and needs in terms of the critical infrastructure sectors. Before I get into more detail on PRECINCT, I want to step back a little bit and help you understand what's important to us. It's not about the innovation that we're doing, it's about making sure it's got a future that's sustained and has a path forward. And that's a key imperative that's been written into the project and we're paying very close attention to. It has an aggressive timeline of 2 years as it's concerned with critical infrastructure protection, which is a very important space for Europe, more so now with the Ukraine war and Russia. The living labs involved in the project are an important mechanism as they allow for white paper solutions, thus avoiding the time cost in development of costly prototypes by engaging early with end users, including stakeholders from critical infrastructure operators, first responders, national institutes and associations of security, and transport stakeholders, and co-creating solutions that are fast and iterative, with innovations being considered from inception to maximize potential exploitation. PRECINCT aims to develop innovation that solves problems and takes a discernible path forward, and seeing that innovation realized and used, commercialized in this space, which is funded by the Commission, such is the gravity of the interest from Europe. It aims to create an ecosystem platform for connecting stakeholders of interdependent critical infrastructures and emergency services to collaboratively and effectively manage security and resilience by sharing data, critical infrastructure protection models, and new resilience services. We're trying to understand critical infrastructure cascading effects in a non-siloed approach across verticals. By implementing digital twins and a serious games approach, PRECINCT aims to identify vulnerabilities and test or validate new detection and mitigation models and associated services in a real-time, real-life context. So the innovation taking place in PRECINCT with digital twin technology, assessment and prediction tools, and serious games with stakeholders, understanding resiliency aspects and being able to measure these as a legitimate framework. So Inelcom is supporting the partners in identifying innovative concepts that underpin a route to commercial success. We aim to file 3 to 4 patents to protect the innovation resulting from PRECINCT, to protect the innovation in the EU and give EU SMEs a competitive advantage on a global stage. In European projects, it's important to identify innovation that can be protected and commercialized. This process requires a solution-based approach, so initially it's important to identify the problem. The logic and importance of generating innovative solutions to this problem requires a collaborative approach, which is what we're doing. In PRECINCT, understanding the vertical intersections, understanding users and partners, this needs a perspective that could propel forward a unified solution. INCOM ensures that there is a market-led focus to guarantee commercial value, while also estimating market size and the ability to saturate the market based on capacity. Business models are focused on the specific needs in Europe, and ongoing analysis of innovation happening in the specific sector being addressed. Being prepared can increase resilience and direct a unified response for enforcement for critical infrastructure. Alignment with stakeholders and end-user solution needs ensures that what is developed will be fit for purpose. It's about the innovation and the future that innovation has, how it's going to be used in the real world, and it doesn't sit on a shelf but adds real value while remaining consistent with Precinct's focus and predefined deliverables. Exploitation requires that commercialization possibilities and the ability to measure the impact are considered as part of the model being developed. The importance of IP protection and how it can support commercialization is a vital consideration, not just within Precinct, but in all European projects. Getting support from the Commission can support acceleration programs, investment confidence to venture capital and angel investors, as well as supporting reputational and competitive advantage. Within Precinct, we've circled that and have filed patents across 4 different areas of the project to help particular SMEs get that advantage and move their innovation forward. Where there's opportunities to develop novel ways to create new solutions that benefit people or the planet, public funding can support that development. Not just the solutions, but the commercialization of the solution. So it's an important consideration in research or data-driven projects. This type of funding is primarily focused on public good, but the long-term viability of the solution being developed requires that it become commercially feasible and have a trajectory and business opportunity past the lifetime of the project. And it's important, as 39% of European GDP is attributable to innovation. IP such as patents, trade secrets, trademarks, layout design, intellectual design, or copyright is demonstrative of long-term viability, which boosts investor confidence in protecting their capital. IP can create legal certainty for exploitation of intangible assets and ensures strong market position. The process is a deep dive and helps scope and review the market position in conjunction with analyzing competitor positioning, which can create a valuable asset, one that can be evaluated, monitored, and monetized. Investors consider commercial reputation and the ability to deliver when considering investment potential. Patents are a credible asset and demonstrate viability, and the detailed understanding of innovation in the specific area that was required to register a patent demonstrates a broad understanding of commercialization, and thus they feel more assured of the commitment and commercial focus of the organization. Patents can be monetized for streaming revenue and obtaining profitability through strategic partnership opportunities. Further revenue streams can be developed through the selling and licensing of intellectual properties. Critical infrastructure and cybersecurity threats are an issue for more than just European states, so the commercial viability of solutions being developed has a long-term trajectory which is worthy of capital investment. Innovation benefits EU citizens and provides revenues from licensing, product sales, partnership and divestitures. IP protection can increase asset value and underpin investor confidence, helping inventors to maintain control. IP protection can guarantee freedom of usage for that invention and increase the reputation of the individual or company, as well as helping to differentiate from competitors in the same market. It's important to note that patent growth is currently concentrated in China and the US and Japan, which suggests that these countries will benefit from economic advantages if these trends continue. The European Commission have emphasized the importance of patent protection for European-led innovation, and EC studies have shown that IP-intensive activities account for a substantial amount of European employment, as well as over 39% of GDP, and that equates to approximately 5.7 trillion euros. The EC also acknowledged that IP-intensive industries pay higher salaries and have proven to be more resilient in economic crises such as COVID-19. Special guidance from the EC to EU member states continues to emphasise IP protection and underline that IP protection is a key mechanism to generate return on investment. Between 2008 and 2018, the EU's patent output has declined from almost 18% to less than 11% in global terms. This will inevitably translate to reduced EU GDP in time if we do not collectively pay close attention. It is in Europe's best interest to take the guidance of the EC on board to protect your growth, success and competitiveness. If 5.7 trillion of EU GDP is attributable to IP protection and the IP landscape, then we're clearly getting behind the EU's impetus to propel European innovation to a place where it's moving forward. So we're taking a strong commercial focus on PRECINCT, supporting patents and supporting business plans and innovation. It's an area of growth with 39,000 patents worldwide registered in this important area of digital twins. It's interesting to note that growth is currently concentrated in the previously mentioned countries, which suggests that these countries over the next 10 years will continue to develop at the same rate of growth. We're registering patents in PRECINCT, and it's important to note that a patent search is a significant undertaking and can ensure that development and prototypes don't go ahead when it may cause financial loss or revoke someone else's intellectual property. So the cost for patent infringement litigation is extensive, and it's worth considering prior to development, as expert guidance and support can allow for iteration where strategic alignment and adjustment can create real commercial value. The number of patents granted globally in 2022 rose to more than 1.1 million, representing an 8% year-on-year growth, estimating the world's total number of patent applications as 2.23 million in 2020. China is the top country by number of patent applications in the world. As of 2020, the number of patent applications in China was 1.34 million, and that accounts for over 60% of the world's number of patent applications. The next top 5 countries, led by the United States, Japan, Korea and Germany, account for about 92% overall. The US, which is considered to be the best environment for intellectual property, registered a 12% increase in filings, and the country has implemented a patent program to optimize the application. It's in Europe's best interest to protect our economic growth, success and competitiveness, as they will benefit from regional economic advantages. The number of patent grants worldwide show a discontinued pace of innovation ratio, as successfully granted patents, in comparison to applications, has diminished, even though the number of applications worldwide have quadrupled. Here this slide really reflects growth and trends in innovation that exhibit critical growth across the globe. Only 4 sectors exhibited consistent growth over the last 4 years. All 4 are very specific and very relevant to PRECINCT, as a project with power and utilities like oil and gas, retail in automotives and healthcare, financial services and technology, media and telecoms. The EU impetus on innovation and commercialization aligns with what we are dealing with infrastructurally. It's very much the centre of gravity of PRECINCT, because we're dealing with critical infrastructures like rail infrastructure or power and utilities, and they are the important areas. Here's potentially where commercialization may lie within the project. The motivation for INELCOM as coordinator is to see the innovation deployed and exploited, and generating revenues after the project. Also, the requirement for the public sector to focus on utilising IP is recognised by the Commission and supports the European Union. Europe has been lagging behind the growth rate and patterns in innovation, and it is recognised that innovation problem solving must support development and business strategies. The growing interest in innovation and business planning with a hybrid model of finding the issues and scoping possible solutions that have commercialization potential is well understood. In phase 1, we sketch out and define the issue or issues. This co-creates a well-crafted, nuanced understanding of the needs or pain points at play. In phase 2, we scope out possible innovation to collaboratively mapping out the landscape and understanding all the actors and personas involved. In phase 3, we consider criteria for patent application We run workshops and sessions to utilise specific expertise and understand the most viable and useful use of resources to support each business strategy. In Phase 4, we file patents, assessed as being most viable and in line with sustainable development of the businesses involved. The business need in Precinct has been agreed between the stakeholders. We understand the issue from the bid, the business need, the industry need, and the project has compelling areas of innovation. We've got digital twins, we've got serious gaming, and there's a concerted effort as we speak taking place to understand the need of the market and the users and so forth. We're at early stages right now, but we're formulating a business plan that can take innovation and bring it forward in terms of a future. While patents cost money to file and have very specific criteria, there is an opportunity here to create value and protect your IP through the use of expert guidance in considering criteria for commercialization and further exploitation. Enercom's framework is very successful because together we work through each phase while the concepts and business models are concurrently being developed or fine-tuned. Critical infrastructures are those critical elements of infrastructure, namely assets, facilities, systems, networks or processes, and the essential workers that operate and facilitate them, the loss or compromise of which would result in major detrimental impact on the availability, integrity, or delivery of essential services, including those services whose integrity, if compromised, could result in significant loss of life or casualties, taking into account significant economic or social impacts, and/or significantly impact national security, national defence, or the functioning of the state. Critical infrastructure sectors are those facilities, systems, sites, information, people, networks, and processes necessary for a country to function, and upon which daily life depends. These include communications, defence, emergency services, energy, finance, food, government, health, space, transport, and water, and include national infrastructure functions and organisations which are not critical to the maintenance of essential services, but which need protection due to the potential danger to the public, such as chemicals and civil nuclear. Several sectors have defined subsections. Emergency services, for example, can be split into police, ambulance, fire service, and coast guard. These critical infrastructures are increasingly interdependent and interconnected, and are at risk from a variety of intentional cyber-physical attacks such as malware, terrorist-driven exploits, etc. They're also at risk from natural hazards such as extreme weather, fires, earthquakes, disastrous consequences of global warming, and also hybrid threats including fake news. Recent research and emerging solutions focus on the protection of individual critical infrastructures, such as ports, energy distribution, hospitals. The interrelationships between these has become more complex to understand, so managing risk and enabling rapid recovery is becoming more pertinent and is also highly challenging. The European Union is focused on providing advice and assistance to those who have responsibility for protecting these most crucial elements of national infrastructure. Responsibility includes those concerned with networks, data and systems. Creating consortiums that can collectively deliver holistic advice that takes into account all aspects and risks is of primary importance. This includes the risk of cascading effects. We are focused on the one small thing causing a much bigger failure down the line. The cascade effect can be described as a domino chain reaction, as we see here in the video of this chain of dominoes. A domino can knock over another domino 1.5 times larger than itself. So here we have a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. The smallest domino is just 5 millimeters high and 1.5 millimeters thick. And there are 13 dominoes here between the smallest and the largest. So the largest domino weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. So here we see demonstrated this chain reaction or cascade effect. So the smallest thing can have this cataclysmic effect. The smallest exposure in critical infrastructure can have a monumental effect in terms of a nuclear power plant or a train getting derailed. And that's what PRECINCT is paying attention to. The non-obvious effect of one critical infrastructure issue on another critical infrastructure in a geographical region. It's significant if we want to improve resilience. It's important to understand where the key innovations happening in critical infrastructure are. Research into the interdependent elements allows for a non-siloed cross-functional understanding. Using a data-driven approach and incorporating serious games develops a deeper understanding of the cascading effects of one critical infrastructure on another. Managing these dependencies can enhance resilience and rapid recovery. Creating a resilience index on digital twins for cyber-physical security management tools can create in-house understanding, aid design of user interfaces, develop decision support tools, identify mitigations to minimize downtime. Building capacity and allowing for timely dissemination and interagency utilization of learnings, creating an exploitation strategy can help inform policy requirements and recommendations for standardization. When looking at digital twin IP, we see the ecosystem of opportunity is large. Digital twin innovation touches many things, including software, firmware, hardware, controllers, wearable devices, sensors, and lots more. Patentability is relevant across all of these, and a well-crafted patent application can indeed protect broadly in terms of these touchpoints. It's all about understanding the stakeholders. It's about understanding what they have in common. It's about putting some kind of business model that unifies them and allowing the innovation to develop. So this could be the kind of support framework that allows for this type of collaboration. The project takes the first steps towards the description of a common PRECINCT integrated solution from the user perspective through the use of stakeholder mapping and analysis, mapping synergies and commonalities across the various critical infrastructures through the use of serious games. It uses digital twins to monitor real-time data and simulate possible scenarios, to scope out relevant touchpoints and interdependencies, and use AI-enabled ecosystems with machine learning to build resilience. It developed geographically defined strategies based on data-driven research findings. And the aim is to create a core integrated framework and business operation model to incorporate the previous iterative steps. So just to return to the key messages, we're considering the key areas for innovation in critical infrastructure. And so by taking a holistic cross-sectoral approach, strategic precincts or geographic areas can allow for building resilience by considering cascading effects. Next steps, aligning with your business objectives to ensure that innovations being developed create competitive advantage and that your intellectual property is protected, while also ensuring you don't develop costly solution prototypes that are already ring-fenced, causing litigation and license costs. Creating commercial viability through protected innovation that can leverage investment capital and also have been proven to be sustainable and meet the pain of the stakeholders and end users involved. Filing patents requires we meet criteria such as novelty, inventive step, etc. And these are important to consider in conjunction with the other elements as the innovation is being developed. The legal requirements are considerable, so having a partner with expertise greatly enhances the possibility of the IP being granted. The EU wants to see the progression trajectory from its investment, and partners are afforded opportunity to build reputation and possible public funding possibilities based on the successful delivery of solutions. It's imperative to protect your innovation from the perspective of competitive advantages, revenues, growth, investment, and associated economic interests for your organization, which continues to be a central incentive in attaining capital to support commercial growth. You can contact us or a patent attorney for support if you have questions or if you wish to discuss further. IP protection is encouraged by the EC, and leading market intelligence actors. The EU's growth, as well as the growth for EU SMEs and industry, is underpinned when we protect and retain competitive advantages within Europe for Europe. Thank you for your time today. I'm Karina Hanrahan from Enelcom Commercial Pathways, and our details are here on screen if you'd like to make contact with us. For more information and to learn about our services, please do make contact. Thank you very much.